What's the difference between good debt versus bad debt? Is my house a form of good debt or bad debt? What's your thoughts on the debt that students get themselves in? Isn't debt debt though? Ugh. Those aren't straightforward questions to answer, people.
You know what you're watching. DS Learning Finance. Whoa.
But to truly answer those questions, you need to know what debt is, people. And you need to know what's the difference between good debt and bad debt. That's where this video comes along. Yes, I know. They're not the best of drawings. But let's stay on topic, guys. So as you can see, you can get bad debt and also good debt. Most people don't even know the difference between these two types of debt. And even fewer people know that you can have the same amount of debt to someone else. The same form, the same interest, everything the same. But the way you use it determines which category you fall under. A lot of people don't know that. But that's what you guys have this video for. Because it will all make sense, I promise you. You just have to watch it to the end of this video because it's like a story. It will all make sense in the end. So let's start off with bad debt, yeah? Forget good debt, not important right now. Bad debt it tends to be what we all know as debt, okay? So it's the most common form of debt. So in the financial world, bad debt is when you owe someone or are due to pay someone / establishment a certain amount of money, but it becomes so great that it's seen as a liability and doesn't offer you any financial gain in return. That's what a form of bad debt is. Sounds familiar, guys, doesn't it? Yeah, majority of the population in the world has some form of bad debt, people. It's inevitable. Whilst good debt, so now we're focusing on this side, forget that side, yeah, is the same sort of debt as bad debt. So it's debt, it's money you owe someone or you owe an establishment. But here's the difference. Good debt gives you a financial gain in return. And it does this by A, giving you more money than what you initially put in, or B, temporarily taking that money away from you. So yes, you're going to have to pay a certain amount, but it's only going to be for a certain amount of time because you know you're going to get your money back. It has to be an and/or case with those two criteria. So you can probably guess what good debt is actually another form of, right? Right. Really, guys? Do I need to explain this to you? Really? Well, good debt is actually a form of investing your money when you think about it. You put a certain amount of money in and you're getting a financial profit in exchange from it. Or you're getting your money back plus an asset. It's basically a form of investment. But the difference from the traditional way to invest is that with that method, you're actually using your own money. But with good debt, you're using someone else's money or establishment's money. But in principle, it's the same thing. You're using it to financially gain from your investments. It's just that with the good debt, you obviously have to pay someone back / an establishment back. And you also probably have to pay interest because they borrowed you a certain amount of money. This concept in particular is summarized by the whole term called leverage. Don't say anything. My drawing is great. I know. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm actually drawing a house right now. So let me just continue. Well, trying to make it look like a house. That ain't too shabby. It's got highlights. But anyway, let me focus on the topic. Well, don't forget the chimney. Come on, damn you, slipping, bro. Yeah. Cool. So the best thing to sort of explain the difference between good debt and bad debt is actually a property. So it's something you live in. And by that, let's say that you're average Joe, you're looking to buy a house. How do you go about doing that? Well, the average person goes about doing that by getting a mortgage. And let's say this house was worth 150k. So 150,000, let me just put it there. 150,000 pounds. Yeah? Cool. It's a lot of money to put on a mortgage. So let's say we bought the house in the UK, so Northampton. Yeah. Because we know it's not going to be in London because the prices, Lord have mercy. The prices are mad in London right now. Pray for me. Yeah, so we bought it in Northampton and we've therefore got a mortgage. What you decide to do with this mortgage is so important. Yes, very important. Because it is a massive form of debt. Whether you like it or not, it's a form of debt because you're taking out money, certain amount of money that you don't originally have at that time, and you're using it to buy something with. It's a form of debt. You owe £150,000 to that mortgage lender and you have to pay it back with interest. But the thing is, the way you use this property really makes a difference on what type of debt it is. For example, if you're renting it, like I do, and the tenants that are paying your rent are able to cover these monthly fees in order to pay this back, and also you're obviously left with a profit afterwards, then that is seen as a really good form of debt, because you're taking that debt and you're making even more money from it. Technically, when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, you are. So let's say your tenants are paying you £500 each and every month, so PCM £500, and then your mortgage lender tells you have to pay, in order for you to borrow this whole amount, you have to pay £400 each and every month, so PCM. The difference between the two is technically what you're left with. So £100 is basically what you have as a profit, and that is a form of good debt because you're taking that debt and you're making a profit with it. So 100 PCM, obviously this is before tax and fees and whatnot, but yeah, like 100 PCM profit. So you're taking that debt and you're making more money with it. Did I mention that I do discuss? Yeah. Okay, guys, be humble. Whilst that same house, that same amount of mortgage, everything is the same. If you decided to stay in that house and not rent it out, live there for the rest of your life, yeah? Let's say DS Learning Finance, yeah? This is me. Jeez, I got swagger. Anyway, DSLF, yeah? I'm in the biz house, I'm in the house, yeah? And I don't decide to do anything with it. I don't decide to sell it. I don't decide to rent it out. I just want to live in it and pay my fees. Then what that means is that this house becomes a form of bad debt. And it's crazy how you can take the same amount of debt, but it's just the way you use it makes it a form of bad debt. Why is it a form of bad debt? Well, when you think about it, yes, we all need a house to live under. That is true, undoubtedly so. But each and every month, it doesn't take away from the fact that I have to pay that £400 to the mortgage company. It doesn't take it away. I still have to pay it. So the fact that it's leaving my bank account each and every month and I'm not going to get anything financially from it means that it's a form of bad debt. It is, undoubtedly so. And I know that there are some people that will say, what about if you pass it on to your children or like maybe your family members, or what about if you decide to sell it on? I can't lie, those are all valid points. True. But in the former case, where you're passing it on to your children, to you, it is bad debt. Whether you like it or not, it's a form of bad debt. Because you're not seeing, this house is not bringing you any form of financial revenue. It's not bringing you any form of financial income. Instead, it's actually taken away from your finance. This means that you're not going to reap the benefits from this property growing in value. Your children will. So your children will appreciate that as an asset. That is a wonderful thing. But you personally, it's still a form of bad debt, whether you like it or not. That's the blunt truth, guys. And there's nothing wrong with that. Even I plan to pass on my houses to my children. But I still know and appreciate that it is a form of bad debt. It's unavoidable, people. You're going to have forms of bad debts, just as long as you know what you're getting yourself into. And even in the latter case, where you're looking to sell this property on after you pay all the mortgage, let's say 30 years plus mortgage, you decide to sell the property on and you make a massive profit. That's true. Yes, it is a form of good debt then. But then 30 years to build up to that final part, it wasn't a form of good debt. And it then raises the question, are you willing to wait? Have you got that patience? A lot of people don't have that sort of patience for them to see such a massive gain in their property and such a massive time frame that they have to wait to get that money. A lot of people don't have the patience for that. And even in the case where you're selling your property, so after that 30 plus years, however many years it is, you decide to sell your property, it's not even guaranteed that you'll make a profit on your property. And it's not even guaranteed that the profit that you'll make will justify waiting them long, hard years. It's not even guaranteed that it will be worthwhile, basically. Don't get me wrong, it's highly likely that your property will increase in value over a certain amount of time. Is highly likely, but it is not guaranteed, people. In general, the property market does increase in value, so properties do appreciate, but that doesn't mean that a property A appreciates at the same rate that a property B appreciates. No, they vary. So one particular property might be appreciating really well, and then the other one might barely appreciate at all. So you really need to know what you're getting yourself into. I hope this has really clarified to you guys what the difference is between the two, between good debt and bad debt. It's still debt, but depending on how you use it, depends on which category you want to fall in under. In general, the consensus is you want to have more good debt than bad debt, because we all want to be wealthier. We don't want to be going down financially. No, that's not what you want to do. But it's understandable to have that sort of mind frame that there is some form of bad debt that you're gonna have to take. So for example, when I bought my property, it was a form of bad debt initially, because I wasn't guaranteed to get some tenants. I can't see into the future. Like, who knows, it could have gone really sour for me. But it's turned into good debt now because I have some tenants. They are paying me rent. Do you see what I mean? So it really depends on how you use your debt. You want to acquire more good debt than bad, but the bad that you acquire, make sure it is a necessity, or make sure you have a valid reason to acquire it. That's my point. Cool. It's great that you guys have made it to the end of this video. Just make sure you keep an eye out for next week's video, because it's actually going to be a continuation from this one. It's going to be about investing versus paying off your debts. Which one is the better thing to do? Because that is one thing that I was thinking about before I even got started investing. So I'm definitely, I'm definitely gonna do it next week. So make sure to watch out for it, guys. And I've done a read list in a short description box below this video about stock market investment books I've read. So make sure you guys check it out if you want more content. If you want to increase your financial knowledge, check it out. Okay, cool. It's your favorite YouTuber, guys, Dami Solario. I talk about stock market investments, talk about property investments, financial management too, giving you guys that consistent content, you know, before you guys can go about doing whatever you're going to do for the rest of the day. So with me, like, subscribe, and share, people. DS Learning Finance. Whoa, bye guys. Whoa.